What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to GTB Ravens Media. This is the Trust the Bank podcast. Myself and Joshua, we are back. We're going to be trying to record these at least once a week. So get your comments, get your questions in. We will talk about them. But the first topic that we're going to be talking about, this one does come from a comment I put out a post saying, what would you guys like us to talk about? And then the first comment came from, let's see, now I can't find it. The first comment came from, he's getting me again, Joshua, but it came from Daddy Bondrude.
Man.
Legend of the channel, always in the streams. Appreciate you. Said, which player/position should Eric DeCosta be prioritizing with handing out contracts right now and during the season? We have a number of guys who we're going to have to pay big money or find trade suitors if we don't want them turning into fourth-round comp picks. We love our fourth-round comp picks. It's the every dollar counts strategy. But to start this off, I want to talk about Isaiah Likely because there was news, fake news, questionable sources coming about Isaiah Likely and the Ravens trying to really get a contract extension, and the number being brought up is Mark Andrews type money. Now, I don't know how valid this source is. I'm not claiming that this source is valid at all, but the Ravens trying to give Isaiah Likely a Mark Andrews contract doesn't sound out of the question. That sounds like something the Ravens would try and do. It for people that don't know, Mark Andrews' contract right now, this is the last year of his deal. Isaiah Likely's in the last year of his deal. Mark Andrews signed a 4-year, $56 million contract. The cap hits were $9 million, $13 million, 16.9, and then 16.9 again this year. So that's kind of that sounds feasible for what we'd offer Isaiah Likely. But Joshua, Isaiah Likely, contract extension, is that the contract that you're prioritizing if you're Eric DeCosta?
I think we talked about this, on previous episodes. If y'all have not checked out the previous episodes, make sure y'all get caught up because, like McConnell said, we're going to be getting back out here, posting, as much as we can weekly if possible. But I love for us to have the weapons around Lamar Jackson, and we have seen the value in Isaiah Likely. I'm never going to take anything away from Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews has been a valuable piece. He has been Lamar Jackson's safety blanket, as we will say in every tight end to every quarterback. But there has been times where Mark Andrews have came up short. And I'm not even just talking about last year's playoffs. This has been an ongoing thing of his career. I think he still can play at a high level, high clip. After this year, I would like to still see him in purple and black, but he doesn't give us that over the hump play. If you throw that ball to Isaiah Likely last year in the playoffs, does he catch it? By the show of his hands and some of the catches that he's already made in last season and even previous years, I'm gonna say yes. I don't see Isaiah Likely blaming on his gloves. I'm not taking nothing away from Mark Andrews. It's just he's had moments where he just didn't show up. So do I feel like, do you keep a young talent and pay him big money before he has another great season? Because I feel like he's going to duplicate what he did last season and maybe even take it to another level. So yeah, I definitely would, pay him the money before he hits the market. He's more athletic. I wouldn't say more skilled, but as far as his route run is more crisp, and also something that might separate him from Mark Andrews. And people don't look at those little things, but a tight end is between a glorified offensive lineman and a fullback, but a more agile guy of offensive lineman and fullback. So what I'm saying is, a tight end not only has to go out there, run routes, catch the ball, but they also got to block. When Isaiah Likely was in some plays and plays that broke down, or even if he was in a package for run plays, I saw him put some dudes on backside. So with that being said, he is a team player. He reminds me of, I know this might be very huge to say, maybe some big cleats to fill, but a Gronkowski. Gronkowski was a big, agile, couldn't be guarded, couldn't be tamed guy, but he was a team player as well. He did everything that was asked of him. Even go out there on defense if you wanted him to, and deflect the Hail Mary pass. So do I feel like Isaiah Likely can bring that same emphasis in the next couple of years to come as a Raven? For sure. So I mean, right now, I definitely will prioritize Isaiah Likely's contract extension. I mean, for me, and after that, for me personally, it would be Tyler Linderbaum. You can't, as an offensive lineman, you can't move that offensive line without your captain. Your captain, in my opinion, is your center, and he's done a hell of a job. He blocks the hell out of on that defensive line. He gets up to the next level very smoothly. Yes, scary for a big guy his size. He has scary speed, and he gets to the next level fast. He's not a Ryan Jenkins, Jensen, in regards of nastiness, but he defends Lamar Jackson with his life, and he don't let nobody get to him. And they have that relationship. You can't break up a center quarterback relationship. So those would be my two priority extensions for me. What about you, McConnell?
Yeah, when I'm looking at Isaiah Likely, he's the one that has the most to gain this year with all the Ravens that are up for contract extensions, right? You look at him, Kyle Hamilton, Tyler Linderbaum. Everybody knows Kyle Hamilton is an elite safety, right? He was rated as the number one safety in the NFL by ESPN, and I think also PFF. I think he's the best safety in the NFL as well. I've said that for years now. Tyler Linderbaum, Pro Bowl level center. He's not he's not going to do anything this year where people go, you should give him an extra $5 million a year, an extra $10 million a year. Like, he's a Pro Bowl center. He's going to get Pro Bowl center money. Whether it's from the Ravens or not, I don't know. Isaiah Likely, I looked up on Spot Track what their market value is for him, just because I like to see, what they say, because Spot Track does it based on just statistics, usage rate, efficiency, that sort of thing. And the players that Isaiah Likely is compared to, Dawson Knox, backup tight end, Foster Moreau, backup tight end, Noah Fant, pretty much a backup tight end. I know he kind of started a little bit, but he's a backup tight end. And David Njoku, he's a starting tight end. He's a good tight end. And with those comparisons, Isaiah Likely should make $10 million per year based on the contract extensions that they got. Here's the issue. Of those players, only one of them is legitimate, tight end in the NFL, David Njoku. He's a very good tight end. He's a number one tight end in the NFL. I'd probably put him in the top 10. And he's very underpaid. Isaiah Likely, I fully believe, is already a top 10 tight end in the NFL. And I think the Ravens know it. And I think teams know it, right? He's put so many teams on notice because he went out there in week 1 against the Kansas City Chiefs and put up over 100 yards. He almost had the game-winning touchdown or game-tying touchdown. The Ravens were going for 2 to try and go for the win rather than the tie. But he was an integral part of our offense. But statistically, he's not going to show up like a number one tight end will until Mark Andrews leaves. The problem is, we won't ever get to see Isaiah Likely as the number one tight end in the Baltimore Ravens system under contract with Mark Andrews, because Mark Andrews is just going to be that guy. He has that rapport with Lamar Jackson. He has the rapport with the offensive line. That's just who the number one tight end is. We're not going to replace him with Isaiah Likely while he's on the team. So we saw when Mark Andrews had been injured, not this most recent year, but the year before, Isaiah Likely really stepped up. And it was like, this guy's a legit number one tight end in the NFL. Like, he can go out there, he can be your starter. But we still had Mark. I don't think we should re-sign Mark. I think Mark needs to be gone. I think we should extend Isaiah Likely. However, I don't think it makes any sense for Isaiah Likely to sign an extension. Why would he sign an extension with the Ravens? Like even if he knows Mark Andrews is gone, I'm looking at it like him. I'm seeing these contracts. I'm seeing what George Kittle's getting. I'm seeing what, Travis Kelce got in the prime of his career. I know I can be an elite tight end. And I think every other team knows that as well. Why would I just let the Ravens make an offer? Because the Ravens are not going to offer him $20 million a year, which I think he may get in the open market. So I don't think it's worthwhile for the Ravens to like hyper fixate on it because I don't think he'll sign. Could the Ravens eventually convince him, team friendly deal? We got to go after that Super Bowl. Yeah, absolutely. But I think that works better after this season, right? If the Ravens go out and they win the Super Bowl this year and they go, yo, you either stay and be a part of greatness or, you take your money and leave. That's the type of option. But if they go out there and they go out in the second round and they lose, and they say, we need you on this team-friendly deal to win the Super Bowl. And you'd be like, dude, I've been on a team-friendly deal the last 5 years. And we've done the same thing every time. Like, this isn't helping us. Like, I'd rather just go to another team, get my bag, and move on. So Isaiah Likely is not the biggest priority for me. For me, it's Kyle Hamilton. I think he's the most dynamic player in the NFL at the secondary position. He's dynamic. He's explosive. He's a leader. He's incredibly smart. That's the guy that I'm trying to get locked down, especially before the safety market explodes, right? We've seen these other positional markets. The running back finally got their big payday. We're yet to really see the safeties go crazy. And Kyle Hamilton is the best safety in the NFL. Let's get him signed before all the safeties start signing for ridiculous amounts of money. And we already know that he is elite, right? Every team in the NFL knows he's elite. And I'd much rather pay him, get him locked in than any of the other players because we were already paying Ronnie Stanley ridiculous money. If we pay Tyler Linderbaum right now, that's just a lot of money to be putting into an offensive line when we haven't seen how well our right tackle is going to play in year 2. What our guards are going to look like, right? We really don't know what's going to happen with the O-line. So let's wait to pay the O-line before we go. Let's wait to see how the O-line plays before we just start paying everybody on it. But I do think Linderbaum's good. I want to keep all 3 of those guys. But it's going to be really tough. It's going to be really tough to get them all locked in.